The sixth match of a 7-match in 22-day gauntlet for the Indy 11 is almost here. It is the Indy 11 and Richmond Kickers meeting for the first time in over 5 months and for the last time this season. As always, we welcome you to Indy 11 Soccer here on Wish TV as well as ESPN Plus alongside Brad Hunter, Greg Rakestraw with you. Thank you so much for joining us. First day of the month of September. Before we look forward, a quick look back. August, Brad, was very good to the Indy 11.
It was. They got in a groove, and this is the right time, not just with the playoffs coming, but in this really tough 7-game stretch.
So the Indy 11, one of 3 unbeaten teams in the month of August, and this is the company that you want to keep. The top team in the league in FC Cincinnati, and a very solid squad we saw on Wednesday in Pittsburgh.
And you know, all these teams are kind of in that right mind where everything's clicking at the exact right time, and the fact that Indy got to play Pittsburgh was a great tune-up for both teams.
The Indy 11 stayed on this graphic with a late goal against the Riverhounds on Wednesday night. Late goals have largely been a good theme for the Indy 11 as of late.
You know, it's an equal part anxiety and fun, but one thing it does guarantee is you can't leave your seat, you can't turn the broadcast off.
This was Juan Guerra's game winner on August the 15th, coming in the 90th minute for the Indy 11. It wasn't a winner on Wednesday night against Pittsburgh. It simply felt like a winner after being a goal up, then a goal down. Jack McInerney nets his 9th of the season.
Yeah, they could not attack the zone with Joe Greenspan at all, and in the late waning moments of this game, Spees find the space over the top. McInerney puts it away.
So what does all this late game drama means in terms of the table in the Eastern Conference? Well, the Indy 11 remain in 6th, but there's more of a gap between them and the teams behind them, as the 8 teams that you see on this page are headed towards the playoffs. Again, there's still 6, 7, 8 matches for all these sides left to play. For the Richmond Kickers, however, they know their season is going to end in mid-October. Really one of the 3 teams that are not in the playoff picture. It has been a really rough stretch of play from Richmond, but a guy that has been a shining light for them all season long, a face and name we're very familiar with, competed against him now for 5 years. It's Brian Schreiber.
Yeah, just an electric player. And you take a look at what he's meant to the Kickers this season. 23 goals they've scored as a club. He has scored 7 of them and assisted on 7. He's had a direct hand in 61% of the team's goals.
But of note, he is not starting tonight. He is available off the bench. It's going to be the 2nd match all season in which he has not been in the starting 11. We'll show you those 11s when we come back. That and the opening kickoff are just moments away. As always, thanks for joining us for Indy 11 Soccer here on Wish TV. Indy 11 Soccer is brought to you by Community Health, exceptional care simply delivered. Community Health Network. By Honda, proud to be the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. By Turkish Airlines, widen your world. And by The Room Place, get it all at The Room Place. It is the next to last Saturday night home game of the season for the Indy 11, the Brickyard Battalion in full voice. As always, we expect a really good crowd here on this holiday weekend at Lucas Oil Stadium. Time now for the starting lineups. They are presented by Honda Manufacturers of Indiana, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11, and many familiar names from Wednesday night. Mark Rennie's done a great job of trying to rotate this lineup as best he can. A couple of changes of note. Brad Ring and Juan Guerra both go back in the starting lineup for the Indy 11. Flip side now for the Richmond Kickers. Again, Brian Schreiber not in the starting lineup for just the second time this season, but several familiar names. Giuseppe Gentile, Neil Labadie, Milan Roberts, all guys that played against the Indy 11 during their days in the North American Soccer League.
Guys that we've seen a lot of and certainly our seasoned pros. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play without their spark plug up top.
It has been a really rough stretch of games as of late for the Richmond Kickers. They have won just once since the end of July. That was a 3-2 win against Penn FC, and that was the only match during that same time in which they have scored goals. And just one road win this season. The only road points this season for Richmond, who comes in 14th out of 16 in the Eastern Conference of the USL. We thank you, as always, for joining us for Indy 11 Soccer here on Wish TV and ESPN+. After tonight, the Indy 11 have just 7 matches left to go. And all of them against teams that are either currently in a playoff position. 5 of those matches remaining are. And 2 teams that are still battling to get into the playoff picture. Suni Saad gets the start tonight. He appeared as a reserve in Wednesday's 2-2 draw against Pittsburgh. Let's take a look now at our injury report, brought to us by Community Health Network Sports Medicine, the official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. Tyler Pasher, Jordan Faring, and those are long-term injuries. Seth Moses misses a second consecutive game with a left leg issue. Dylan Mayers in his 4th straight start since returning for the Indy 11. Sets up Suni Saad to his right. Both teams tonight playing in a 4-3-3. Indy played Richmond in their first ever USL match on March the 24th. It was Jack McInerney's goal late in the first half that was the only scoring of that match. Provided the Indy 11 one of their road victories on the season. You see McInerney has been on a tear as of late. He has 6 goals in his last 5 weeks. Now 9 goals on the season, which puts him in the top 20 in terms of goals scored in the USL.
And they're impactful goals too. I mean, they're goals that come at critical moments, either early or late, or deciding games or pulling points.
Let's take a look now at our keys to this match, presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, official automotive sponsor of the 11.
For Indy, don't sleep on Gentile. I think sometimes there's this tendency when the other team's leading scorer is out that you fall asleep, and we saw from the NASL days how dangerous Gentile can be. Another thing is that every moment counts. You take a look at some of the goals that the 11 have given up, late restarts, early in matches, can't click off. They've got to stay tuned in. For Richmond, they got to be mentally tough. They just came off of a 4-0 loss to Nashville. They've given up 59 goals all season. Indy right now is clicking. They're averaging almost 2 goals a game. They're going to get scored on tonight, and they can't mentally collapse at that moment. And then the final thing is they got to be quick in transition. One of the ways to get Indy is when they do get stretched out of shape, to be quick in the attack. And then certainly they got to recover the way that Indy's scoring right now.
Quick restart for the Indy 11. Ferreira with the service. Saad the intended target. Quickly won away by Neil Labadie. And Labadie spent time with FC Edmonton. Also with the Carolina Railhawks. So familiar to guys like Brad Ring and Dylan Mayers in their days with Indy, but also to the many other players that are former NASL pros on this Indy 11 side. There are lots of them. Gentile providing that pressure. Bit of a nervous pass from Mitchell, but Ferreira makes quick work of it. Diagonal ball for McInerney. Ensures that he stays onside.
What a veteran move. Just a little nudge on Eaton to create some space for himself.
Ferreira. Able to play that ball back to Owen Von Williams. Von Williams with 9 clean sheets so far this year. That is tied for 5th in the entire USL. Not sure what it says about the different conferences, but the top 6 goalkeepers in terms of clean sheets all play in the East. Maxime Crépeau of Ottawa Fury FC leads the league in that category. Spies goes to the turf. Hope the draw whistle does not get it. Ferreira on full trot plays that ball inadvertently off the official. And quickly offers a hand to make sure he knows that was not intentional. Victor Rivas, by the way, is our referee tonight. Walter Heatherly and Casey Anderson are our lines persons this evening, and Mike Nickerson is our 4th official.
A well-played ball.
Good looking ball here, left foot, and Richmond's on the board. Richmond had not scored in their last 2 matches. The last time they scored was a victory against Penn FC, and the Kickers in minute number 5 have an early goal. That is Gonzalez that gets the strike for Richmond.
Great finish, a little bit late and tracking in the middle, but and I'll tell you, I think it was the ball from Umar that sent him into the corner. That was just before that replay started showing, that freed him up and got the space for the ball to be served across.
For Gonzalez, it is his 2nd goal of the season. For Richmond, it is the 2nd time they have scored in a match since July 21st. And for a team that has been reeling in the fashion in which they have, that is a lifeline thrown to them early in this match. Well, the Indy 11 had the benefit of the early goal in Wednesday's game against Pittsburgh, but ended up playing from behind in the 2nd half. Guerra takes a hard tumble to the turf, and a free kick is coming for the Indy 11. And a talking to is going to happen between our goal scorer and our match referee.
You are right on the edge of probably where SUNY side could dial his own number here.
Given SUNY's heroics from earlier this season, I would say anywhere in the building, I'm thinking about giving him an opportunity. 2 of the 4 SUNY side goals this year have been of this variety, on a leave on an indirect free kick. You can see Martin running on the sidelines, head coach of the Indy 11. SUNY side with 4 goals this season. 2 have been of this variety, but he hasn't scored since the end of May. Scouting report started to get out on SUNY just a bit. Ring the touch. SUNY with the blast. Deflected, and Trevor Spangenberg over to make the play. That one did not go maybe as planned for SUNY.
It's going to be interesting to see how Indy plays this game. I think the last, I don't know, you probably know how many times you've been in this building where they've actually had the early lead, or they've had the lead and let it slip away and then had to fight back to get the points. Now this is a different situation than we've seen them in.
They played from behind for most of the match against FC Cincinnati back on March 31st. Both teams scored early goals in the rematch on May 2nd. Handball is whistled against Juan Guerra. You can look at the head coach of the Richmond Kickers. That is David Bulow. Given their season of struggle, former Richmond player has worked with some of their developmental sides over the years. Flag goes up for Gentile. They're just trying to find terra firma. It's not been there all year for Richmond. They actually didn't get out of the gate so bad, but almost all of their wins coming in April and May.
That's so tough psychologically on a team. These last few months have had to be really, really rough.
This is Wimet. Now Guerra. with some space to operate it. Gives it a go. Not exactly a threatening ball for Trevor Spangenberg. The goal you saw from Guerra during our pregame highlight package from August the 15th is his only tally of the season. You're going to see Trevor Spangenberg at the starting goalkeeper for Richmond. And Trevor is an Indiana native. Graduated from Boone Grove High School in Valparaiso before playing collegiately at Missouri State.
That was a great goal kick he just took. I mean, he dropped into a pocket that the margin of error was very small.
Both these teams played at midweek. Richmond does have one additional day of rest in their legs, having played in Nashville on Tuesday, losing 4-0.
I'll tell you, the toughness and quickness of Ferreira, you know, now seeing him fully healthy and actually game fit, wow, that was a loss these last few months.
Ferreira was injured in the home opener back on March the 31st and really did not return until late June, early July. And he has pretty much been in the lineup most nights ever since because of this stretch of so many matches as of late. The center backs and defenders have played maybe a little bit more in terms on an every night basis than, say, the midfielders and forwards have. Left foot does not get through. Brad Ring gets in the way of the effort. Shot taken by Brandon Eaton for Richmond. But a throw in coming here for the Kickers. Richmond has given up multiple goals in 7 of their last 8 matches. The Indy 11 have scored multiple goals in each of their last 4 home matches. So you get the feeling there's more on the board coming. But Richmond getting one is unable to navigate that end line as Luis Fernando. Take another look at the opening tally by Richmond.
Now this is one of the things here. You look at the ball from Umar that sprayed out wide there. It is a perfectly placed ball. I mean, any other place that ball can't be slotted across. There needs to be a stat. I'm gonna start a campaign to start a stat for that ball that gets delivered before the assist.
The hockey assist?
Yeah, because the guy deserves credit. It's a brilliant ball.
McInerney sends it in. Player goes down. Side wanted contact. This says nope. Play on. This portion of the match is presented. This portion of this match presented by Community Health Sports Medicine. Dream big, work hard, and finish strong. The question we had to some degree on Wednesday night, and getting down early, maybe we ask it again here, is at what point? This is the 3rd consecutive week of double-up matches of playing Wednesday, Saturday. And at least this week there was no travel for the Indy 11. But at what point does that finally catch up to this team?
I honestly, I don't think it does because of the way that they've managed these first 5 games. You look tonight, what have you got? Suni Saad starting, didn't start the last night. Brad Ring, Guerra. You know, so you've got fresh legs. Then you take a look at the guys off the bench, and you've got talented players that you can have at your disposal, that these guys don't have to play 90 minutes.
3 new faces in the lineup, Ring, Guerra, and Saad. But all of them appeared as reserves in the second half on Wednesday.
And they're all starting caliber players, so you're not sacrificing any quality when you make these moves. And I think Martin has navigated this 6-game stretch brilliantly as far as using his players, keeping guys fresh and healthy, keeping guys involved in getting touches. I mean, you want that as you round out this last little bit of the season, that you can keep everybody polished and checked in.
By the way, of note, one of the faces you saw on the sidelines for the Indy 11, he is back from rejoining his regular club in the Chicago Fire, Elliot Collier. And Elliot was acquired in a mid-season loan from the Fire. Elliot, the youngster from New Zealand. The Fire then went to play a friendly against Bayern Munich. Kind of a tribute to Bastian Schweinsteiger, if you will. And so he then went back and missed the last 2 matches with the Indy 11 to play with the Fire in Germany.
I'll tell you what, I like what he's brought. This guy, he's a little different of a player up top. He's got size, but he's got pace. He can serve as a target. He's crafty.
Band Select is the official soccer ball of the USL. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit SelectSportAmerica.com and receive free shipping on orders over $50. Here is Iose. He has played all 6 of these matches in this stretch. It now goes on 18 days. There's the target.
And he's played brilliant.
The only time he's been out of the lineup this year is because of a couple of different injuries. Mayers gives it a go, and Spangenberg will want to have that back. Dylan Mayers has hit prettier goals. The end result is all the same. The Indy 11 level in minute number 14.
Tough break. Now you got to see how he bounces back. I mean, this is part of the game. You know, whether you're a goalkeeper, whether you're a field player, you're going to make these critical mistakes that are going to lead directly to, you know, really tough moments. And now do you have the confidence to withstand that? Can you still be the voice in the back and have a presence? We saw it in the last match.
And that emotion just burying the face in the turf, knowing that's a ball he should have stopped. It did take a bit of a short hop, but didn't play it properly. And Dylan now has the same number of goals for the Indy 11 as is the number on his jersey, 2. He has started all 4 matches for the Indy 11 since rejoining the team less than 2 weeks ago. Dylan 4th on the all-time matches played list for the Indy 11. 3rd on the all-time goals scored list for the Indy 11. But spent the last 2 years with Miami FC. Dispossessed by Ring. Opportunity here. Spees rockets one towards Spangenberg. Didn't field that one cleanly, but he does stay in front of it. And now, take a look at Luis Fernando, who is down on the turf, and we'll stop play right here to check on him.
I'll tell you, that shot by Spees, that's a smart shot for a couple reasons. One, you're giving Spangenberg virtually the same kind of look, a short hop right in front of him. And, you know, to his credit, he saw it from 30 yards. That's one of those ones you're thinking, okay, I got to get my body behind the ball, and he did.
Spangenberg teammates with Giuseppe Gentile here with Richmond in Puerto Rico last year, but also Seth Moses of the Indy 11. We're coming up on nearly the 1-year anniversary of those guys riding out the hurricane in Puerto Rico and then playing the last month of the season as a traveling road team. Playing a couple of matches last October here in Indianapolis. Gentile knocked away by Ouimet. Giuseppe has spent time with Fort Lauderdale Strikers, San Antonio, before he was in Puerto Rico. Had a game winner against the Indy 11 at Carroll Stadium back in October of 2015 in a 3-2 loss for the home side that night. Iose elects to let that ball go free. Richmond was one errant pass away from having a great look at a second in the first 20 minutes. As McInerney falls the turf, Milan Roberts the guilty party.
It's amazing, as physical as he's played and as many hits as he's taken this season, that he's been such a consistent performer. And you know, getting better every single game, being more impactful every single game.
Fans, you can show your Indy 11 pride and get exclusive Indiana Members Credit Union Indy 11 debit card at any Indiana Members Credit Union branch or online at imcu.com today. Iose, 7 assists to lead the Indy 11.
It's the little things that he does. Just on that last play there, he lines his body language up that he's going to hit the early serve from afar. That draws the defender in front of him, and then he cuts it back and takes a look into the middle.
He was a guy who could play with the New York Cosmos the last 5 years, so the Indy 11 competed against him the previous 4 years, and he was a name we would talk about, we would see on the field. I thought he was a good player. I had no idea how good of a player he was until we saw him on a night-in, night-out basis.
I am in 100% agreement with you. I thought he was a talented player, but never thought he was as dynamic of a talent as, you know, watching him every match this season.
That's a problem. That's a giveaway for Richmond. Errant pass from Mikael Williams. Austin Yearwood, the closest kickers player next to it. Jose coming up in support. So many of assists have come on set pieces and corners this year for the Indy 11. Also 3 successful PKs in his 4 goals on the year. Nifty pass by Guerra. Ring almost in shooting range himself. Outstanding build up here by the Indy 11. Ferreira bails out to Carlisle Mitchell. Mitchell leads the Indy 11 field players, positional players in matches played this year. This is his 25th appearance of the season. Trails only goalkeeper Owan Fawn-Williams, who has played every second of every match for the Indy 11 this year. Guerra plays it across to Ouimet. Ouimet will want to have that one back.
What a little flick out into space for Ouimet.
The Brickyard Battalion wasn't exactly looking for a souvenir on that ball.
I'll tell you what, though. You know, you take a look at the interplay and the overlapping runs and the clever passes out into space for guys, and there's so much confidence in the way that Indy 11 is playing at this moment.
Well done by Ouimet to track that ball back. Now Dylan Mayers, the lead for Saad. Jose. Now Spees couldn't get there in time.
And this is, if you're part of the Kickers organization, you're a fan of the Kickers, this is what you want to see from Spangenberg. You want to see him electric off his line, not hesitant, not second guessing things. And based on the 2 recent saves he's had, he's back in the ball game.
He is second on their team in terms of appearances in net. Player that has played in front of him, Travis Wara, but they really have come close to splitting the match time so far this year. Saad able to get back onside. Good looking cross here. Cleared away by Yearwood for Richmond before Ouimet will track it down. This porch the match presented by the Room Place. Get it all at the Room Place. Saad, a foul. And that's, there are many things that this team has in a good amount of supply, the Indy 11. What they don't, other than when Justin Braun is healthy or Elliot Collier plays, is have that target guy up front where you can really kind of play that header from one post to the other.
Right. I think you also have a little bit of that. Starikov is such a unique player. He could be a target. He could be a slash player off of a target. He can create his own shot. So I think you've got that little unique talent. And you got a guy like Sumi Saad who can serve the ball from anywhere.
Starikov is available for selection off the bench tonight. He, along with Elliot Collier, Matt Watson, Nico Mattern, Kevin Venegas, and Brad Russick. And the backup goalkeeper, who has not been used this season, is Ben Lundgaard, on loan from the Columbus Crew. We were joking about this kind of before the pregame show. But you try to be a good teammate however you can be. And on the pregame highlights where we showed those last-minute goals by Juan Guerra and Jack McInerney, the first player off the bench to celebrate, Ben Lundgaard.
Here's one thing
that counts for something. It does.
Here's something with that is film don't lie. And so all of this stuff that comes in, you're not only analyzing the stuff that goes on in the field, but when you look at his face, the genuine passion and excitement that he had in that moment, that's an all-in guy.
This is where the attack came from Richmond earlier. Mitchell.
I mean, think about that. He hadn't played a second, and he's the first guy there, and the excitement on his face is like a kid that scored his first goal.
As a college walk-on, I appreciate that. Reminds me of myself in my playing days. Corner coming first of the match for the Richmond Kickers. Labadie will take this. And Richmond overload the box. I don't know if they'll back 3 out of it, but a lot of traffic in front of Owan Fawn-Williams. Might as well take the chance. Ball sent in.
Serve.
Ferreira, a boot to it. Guerra, a noggin to it. But out of the danger yet. Now Spees will buy a little more real estate.
That's one of the tough things about when you're matching up against a team that is eliminated, and they know that the ending date of their season, and they're not going into the playoffs.
Another opportunity here.
You got burned on that once. You got to be in the right spot. They can take chances that you wouldn't take if you're in contention for something.
A point doesn't do you much good if you're Richmond.
Right.
You're going for the win.
Throw everybody forward and have, it's hard to say when you've only got 21 points, but have fun. Just have fun and play.
And we also talked about this because in this stretch, this really busy stretch for the Indy 11, the Indy 11 now played the bottom 3 teams in the Eastern Conference, but the perspective is so much different for Toronto FC 2 and Atlanta United 2 compared to Richmond, because there are so many guys that are transient, that are in and out of those lineups on the 2 teams, because they could be on an academy deal or a big club deal. For these guys in Richmond, it's a different perspective because they know that their season's done here in about 5 or 6 weeks.
Right, and all 3 of them present a challenge, and this is where you really rely on guys to be professional. These are the games you can fall asleep on. These are the ones you can say, oh, it's in the bottom third, bottom of the table. You can relax a little bit, and those you just need 1 or 2 guys to click off, and it's contagious.
The USL's official Twitter feed keeps you up to date with news, live game updates, and highlights around the league 24/7. Follow at USL on Twitter. Bit of a giveaway again by Richmond. You can see why, to some degree, they've had some of the defensive issues they've had. There's a couple of balls that have been given away rather casually that help explain the mountain of goals they have let in. They've let in 10 in the last 2 games. Foul against Richmond. Had a 6-0 loss to Louisville City FC a couple of games ago. That was at home. And then Tuesday's 4-0 loss against Nashville, 1 in the first half, 3 in the second.
Week like that makes it really tough to go to training. I mean, there's so many things you have to work on, and so much of it too is in your head.
Before the ball is delivered in, just a little bit of a meeting of the minds. And Victor Ribas, our match referee. We've seen Victor a handful of times over the last couple of years. Spees to serve it in. When that got there, he does have a couple of recent goals, including last Saturday in Atlanta, but that was never on target.
He's not afraid to hit a goal kick into a window that's tiny.
Spees had his home match scoring streak snapped on Wednesday. Had scored the previous 3 home games. Guerra able to keep that ball in play. Good service here. Lavany got there first before McInerney could net his 10th of the season. Guerra, a hard tackle, but got the ball first, allowed to play on, and a throw-in coming for the Indy 11.
What a great run by McInerney.
McInerney had spent the entirety of his 8-year professional career in Major League Soccer before this season. Did not get much of a chance at playing time last with the LA Galaxy and came here largely for that reason. The effort's been there every night, but the goal switch has been turned on as of late.
Yeah, and I don't want to overlook the incredible serve by Guerra in that moment. I mean, to be sprinting towards the touchline to keep the ball in bounds and then be able to turn on the dime and get your hips in a position where you can drive a ball into the box. That's a difficult ball.
This is the sweet spot for Ayoze. That left-footed in-swinger from that corner. Whether it's been Ouimet or Mitchell, good things have happened from this spot. And Ferreira, Mitchell, McInerney all serve as targets here. Now we never really got to an Indy 11 foot. And now a chance for a counter. Brad Ring back. Dylan Mayer is racing back as well. Ring could keep that at his feet, but it does slow the progression just enough to allow more teammates to cycle back in. You wouldn't say the Richmond goal was against the run of play, but they really have only had maybe one look since that time in the last 20+ minutes.
You mentioned how infrequent they score that first early goal. That gives you some excitement, gives you some energy, and then giving up a soft goal like you do takes it right away from you.
Fan Soccer Saturday. You know the drill, every Saturday morning on 107.5 FM and 1070 The Fan. This week we talked about Ray Gaddis, Indianapolis native, becoming the all-time leader in minutes played for the Philadelphia Union. We talked about the Butler Bulldogs after another outstanding start. Butler ranked 11th in the country. Got a win at number 16 Western Michigan on Thursday. Of course, we talked with the head coach of the Indy 11 in Martin Rennie and talked about Clint Dempsey's retirement from soccer. Somehow we covered all that ground in 60 minutes this morning. It's available on the podcast page now at 1070thefan.com. What we did not mention was DePauw's season opening win against Hanover last night, 1-0. Congratulations, Coach.
Thanks, pal. I appreciate it. It was a tough, hard-fought victory. They are a good team.
For those outside of Indianapolis that don't know the reference, my broadcast partner is the head coach at DePauw University on the men's side. Outstanding Division III program here in Indiana. Mares had the give, never the go, but this one works. Iose plays it across, and Iose is so much a distributor. That's one of the rare times he might have been better off just going for goal himself. Right. It's not really in his DNA. In his 4 goals this year, 1 set piece, 3 penalties. I'm not sure I've seen the Indy 11 control possession as much in a match as we've seen tonight.
When you look, you got some body language out there that disturbs you as a coach with Richmond. You know that the pressure isn't coming in, the second wave of it.
Side. Spangenberg had to get a piece of it. The other corner coming for the Indy 11.
It's a good tip. It's a good tip. And you look at some of the balls that the 11 are serving into the box, and the Richmond defenders getting there and getting a piece of it and nicking it, but not getting it out of danger, not clearing the box. I'll tell you the one thing you like about Iose on corners in particular, but you could really talk about any restart with it, is he gives you a chance. He gives you a chance. He puts the ball in a place where you got a chance.
Looking back post, Ferreira was the target. Roberts got there first for Richmond. And Martin Rennie drawing the ire of Victor Rivas. Frankly, I think Martin and anyone else connected with the Indy 11 haven't been overly happy with the officiating the last couple of matches. There's been nothing I've seen tonight that gives me cause for pause.
No, that was just one. I think Martin just stepped out of the coach's box and they called him back in. I think the 4th official came over to say, look, we're going to put one of those shot collars on you if you don't stay in the yard.
Is that legal?
I think so. I think it just got approval from FIFA.
They kind of tucked that in behind VAR.
Yeah, I can't.
Invisible fencing got a deal as well. The portion of this match presented by Honda Manufacturers of Indiana, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. You see Martin Rennie, first year with the Indy 11. Done an outstanding job so far. And this team was really put together in the span of about 6 weeks. Made the move to the USL in early January, announced the move to Lucas Oil Stadium in late January. They were playing on March the 24th. Brought back just 3 players from a season ago for the Indy 11. It's Spies, Ring, and Braun. Of course, Braun has now missed the better part of the last 2 months, but he was not even on the injury report tonight. So frankly, I would expect to see Justin, if not starting, available as a sub likely on Wednesday night versus Red Bulls 2.
I would think, unless something happened in training and something got tweaked, I would think that this is a just get yourself ready. Look at that touch.
Iose.
Look at that ball. Look at that. That's just an incredible sequence.
And if you're a player running opposite Iose, you know, go to a spot, he'll find you.
Hey,
the ball's going to find you.
You've got the confidence. There's so many unrewarded runs that you make in the entirety of a match that when you have a guy that you trust can find you, can get you the ball, it just gives you a little bit of spark in your step.
The read by Ring, couldn't field it cleanly, but got in the way just enough. With the rotation of players over these last 3 weeks, Ring's been the rotating captain. He and Matt Watson have shared those duties. McInerney trying to slide it by the Richmond defender. Couldn't do it successfully. Finished thought on Brad Ring. It's almost turned into Matt Watson is the Wednesday captain and Brad Ring is the Saturday captain.
Yeah, some guys don't work weekends, so I don't know how that got worked out, but it's been a great balance. It allows both of them to get rested. It gives you great veteran leadership on the field at all times.
Fans, you can watch highlights from every game of the 2018 season and stay up to date with news from across the USL at the league's official Facebook page, facebook.com/USL Soccer. 2 players down in a heap. We play on. Both players help each other up. We met, and Fernando for Richmond.
I've said it, I'll say it again. We met has been so incredibly steady. I mean, you could take a look at that on the back line. And whether it's Iose, Venegas, Mitchell, we've had such great steady play.
We met and Ferreira teammates last year in San Francisco in the NASL. Before that, Carl spent time with the New York Red Bulls, the Montreal Impact. He is a native of Quebec. Spent some time with the Jacksonville Armada a couple of seasons ago as well. He is 26 years of age, and he has stated that he's going to keep playing, health permitting, for 8 more years because he wants to be on the Canadian World Cup team when they are a part of the World Cup in 2026. Now, of course, Canada hopes to be there in 2022 in Qatar as well, but wants to play on home soil and knowing that Canada will be guaranteed a World Cup spot. Roberts has to race back to track that one down. Another one of the errant passes that relinquishes possession for the Richmond Kickers.
It just frustrates you because all you're doing is defending. You're defending, you're defending, you're running, you're chasing, defending. It's a tough way to spend 90 minutes.
They got an early goal in minute number 5. The Indy 11 equalized from Dylan Mayer some 10 minutes later. And possession has been all Indy 11 since that time. And Ouimet showing some pretty nifty ball skills on the attack.
And that's what you got to be careful of right there. I mean, Gentile in space with a 1v1. He is incredibly dangerous. Has got good pace. Technically, he can create his own space in his own shot. You got to be careful of that on the counter.
This portion of tonight's match presented by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. Take your business to the next level in a state that works. You see Spangenberg. His high school, Boone Grove High School, won a baseball state championship here in Indiana earlier this summer. Mitchell. Iose lays it off for Suni Sa. Todd's cross doesn't go very far. Here's Gentile on the run. Stays onside. There's 4 Indy 11 defenders behind him.
Good ball.
Good job of switching the attack. Gentile.
Wow.
That's on his front foot. That's a problem.
Yep, they had it. They had it. There's a good build-up. They had the right opportunity and the right guy. Just the quality of that final ball was just a little bit off.
Gentile does not have a goal this year. This is his 11th appearance of the season and his 5th start of the year.
Look at that ball. That one-touch ball right on the money. Just needed about 6 more inches.
McInerney, nifty touch, is able to keep it in play. On the cross, Spangenberg couldn't get there, but Neither could Ben Speeds. Good effort to keep that ball in play by Richmond. Again, here's the counter.
Great read.
Well defended by Mitchell. And then the foul against Gentile.
What a read.
Mitchell has been very steady for the Indy 11 in his first season in this league. Native of Trinidad and Tobago. One of two on the Indy 11 roster. Nathan Lewis is the other. Saw Nathan appear as a reserve last Saturday in the 1-1 draw versus Atlanta United 2. Playing time's been tough to come by for Nathan. Kind of the month of June on. Not the 18 this evening. You're Martin Rennie. How you feel about this game right now, Brad?
I feel great. The only way you're going to get caught is a counter ball that you misplay and you're stretched out of shape defensively. You're having opportunities. Another 30 minutes, you might start getting a little bit of concern if it stays this way. Because that 3 points is huge. When you take a look at the table from early on, and as well as the stretch of games has gone, and as many points as they've pulled during this stretch, there's still the team right below them is
McInerney stopped by Spangenberg and then cleared by a defender.
Wow.
It is not taking much space for him to find an opportunity these days.
He is on. He is on. And man, he's just such a demanding role that he calls for himself, because he is constantly getting hit, constantly holding a defender off as the ball's coming into him as a target. He plays like he's 6'5", 200 pounds. Love it. Great ball.
Ouimet able to keep it in play. And Ouimet has spent more time as a center back this year, playing as a right back tonight. He's been equally adept at both. Saad trying to make the turn. Well, but Labadie got the ball. Saad stays down. Counterattack is being launched by Richmond. One eye going forward, one eye looking back at Suni Saad. The volley not on frame, and now we can go back and check on Suni Saad behind the play. And Suni's been battling a little bit of a leg injury and has kind of played through it. Brian Gerlach will head out to check on Suni. A couple of matches ago, we assumed Suni's going to be done before halftime.
Right.
Came back out and played 30 minutes into the second half. Chance for everybody to get a little water in their system. By the way, in terms of the playoff picture last night, the New York Red Bulls got closer to the Indy 11, but helped provide a little more cushion from Indy to 9th place Ottawa, as Red Bulls 2 got a 1-0 victory. And then Charleston and Louisville played to a 2-2 draw last night. So all in all, from the Indy perspective, those results probably went about as well as you could have hoped for.
Right, and then you look at tonight, and what do you have? 41 points, and the team in 8th is at 38. There's 3 points to separate you, so getting another 3 is so critical.
Saad will be assisted to the sidelines, and Spangenberg didn't let one in he'd like to have back, but did a good job of saving one there.
And I'll tell you, I'm impressed with Richmond, with the tools that they have. You take a look at how they're sitting in their counter. They've got 8 guys within 25 yards of their own goal in their defensive third. And when they break out, and they're being very effective on their left side, getting the ball out wide and then serving it, and either looking for Gentile or Gonzalez.
Suni got a few pieces of Lucas Oil Stadium turf on his forehead. We've seen that from time to time this year. By the way, the final 5 minutes plus stoppage time of the first half is brought to us by your Central Indiana Honda Dealers, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. They're kind of giving Suni the check to make sure he didn't take a knock to the head on that play. He apparently has passed that quick test and will be allowed to continue on. Well, the Indy 11 has been prone to giving up late first half goals. Let's see if the tables might be turned in this one. Happened against Pittsburgh on Wednesday night. In their previous 2 home games, they were up 2-0 and then gave up 2, and then came back to win 3-2 in both of those. McInerney with the flick. Saad back in. Throw incoming. Would think we're looking at a minute or 2 of stoppage time here to end the half. Goals by Gonzalez for Richmond and Bears for the Indy 11. The 11 have not lost since a July 21st decision at the Tampa Bay Rowdies. A 3-1 defeat. They've gotten points from 7 matches since that time. 3 wins and 4 draws. We're told 2 minutes of added time before the halftime festivities get underway. Saad to Speeds. Roberts in his hip pocket. The throw in coming here for Indy. The restart a quick one. Ball sent in. Jose weaving his way through the minefield, but Saad couldn't maintain possession. Bears gets it right back. McInerney to Guerra. Looking back post. Really nobody there, and McInerney can't get there in time. So while the Indy 11 is having a good amount of possession kind of around the 18, they really haven't had more than McInerney's last shot that we've seen. That many dangerous moments on goal. And you look at how Richmond's playing. They got their 2 lines of 4 that are dropping deep, 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 and really allowing the 11 to have, 65–70% of the field uncontested, and really condensing the lanes and the channels that the 11 can play in the defensive third, and then just hoping to win a ball and find the feet of Gentile and work to counter off of that. McInerney with the hustle. Good job to head that one back. Spangenberg could have played that with his feet, or with his hands, really. He played with his feet instead. The ball was headed back to him. Good looking ball here. Von Williams backs up. Ferreira got in the way. Gentile looks to make the turn. Ring draws the foul from Gentile. Brad Ring is not a player to back away from a physical challenge. No, that's a silly foul, though. That's one that because you had a corner coming. If you don't, you had something coming, and then you just allow. And to be honest with you, when you're in a situation where you're kind of low pressing and sitting in and looking for a counterattack, your opportunities to score are going to be either through the counter or a restart, and you gave up one right there. Closing moments of half number 1. Von Williams will let this ball roll to his feet. A quick check of the wrist watch of our referee. And that's it, that's all for half number 1. Well, Richmond with an early tally. The Indy 11 would quickly answer, and both teams have been sitting on 1 for 30+ minutes. But we expect more goals, potentially in both directions, in half number 2. Stay tuned. Our halftime show comes your way in a matter of moments. We'll update you on scores from around the USL, show you some highlights from around the league too, and talk about a match that was played before this one tonight here at Lucas Oil Stadium. Through 45 minutes, it's the Indy 11 won and the Richmond Kickers won, as you're watching Indy 11 soccer on Wish TV and ESPN+. Burn it. Back inside Lucas Oil Stadium, the young folks you see on the field. Danville and Mooresville got to play the first high school soccer games ever at Lucas Oil Stadium this afternoon, and that wasn't even the special match we're going to tell you about. We'll get to that coming up a little bit later on in halftime. Again, 1-1 is the score here. Let's take a look now at action from elsewhere across the USL. It's presented by Crown Plaza, Indianapolis downtown. Let them assist you with your next meeting or event. And those two teams you see in the upper left-hand corner, one of them needs 3 to kind of stay in the playoff picture. North Carolina got a great boost with the loan of Zach Steinberger. He scores 2. They scored 6 last week for Charlotte, but now Tampa Bay leads them 2-0.
Tough one, too. I mean, that's you're fighting for your season at that point.
FC Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, again, you're looking at teams 1 and 2 in the table, 0-0 early in that one. Nashville right now 7th in the playoff picture. With the Red Bulls 2 win last night, they're on that buffer too. Charlotte needs a win to stay in the hunt too.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the exciting games tonight. I cannot wait to watch that Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game.
So those are the scores from elsewhere across the USL. Let's show you some of the great moments as of late from the United Soccer League.
Will send the cross in, and what a goal by USL's leading goal scorer, Thomas Evelson.
Lancaster, and it's 1-0 to Louisville City.
Rio. Have not drawn a match as Langsdorff has found the back of the net and leveled the tally in the 79th minute, his 14th goal of the season.
Vega. Tevin Vega shooting. Goal! Mendiola!
Big launch with the right.
Oh, Steinberger, second opportunity. Welcome to North Carolina FC. Zach Steinberger has tied it at 1. Yes, Dabo. Big shot. Bingo. Mohamed Dabo.
Cross goal! And the goal by Bustamante, and Fresno may indeed sneak out of here with a point.
Hoffman outside the 18, shot, goal, goal, goal! Looking forward to Hoffman, goal! The brace!
Justin Davis, that's a great goal!
King steps up, creating the turnover, with the finish!
Nanko, save made by Pickens, follow save, and a devastating goal by the Bethlehem Steel.
It's in. New York have tied it up. It's 4-4.
Oh, Reedy saves it!
An impressive save.
Saved off the line, Lubin!
But it's swatted away by Cohen.
Derek producing a fantastic diving save, and it's Tyler Derrick again, who's had an incredible performance.
Saved by Restrepo! Not once, but twice!
Shot pushed away by Lopez.
Oh, and what a save by Marcin Kowski.
He gives it a strike off Cardoni. Arduro with the big shot and a great save by Newton.
And a save by Matt Pickens.
Great save as Eric Dick got a hand on it.
Fantastic save there from Laurel.
The highlights get better each and every week. Our USL look around the league here at halftime. I'm not sure from a soccer standpoint the highlights we're about to show you will be as good. That's because these folks have a much more important day job, because the match before this one was the annual Battle of the Badges. Tonight is public safety night, and before the Indy 11 match, Indy's finest squared off on the pitch. IMPD versus the Indianapolis Fire Department. Now, this was put on by the Indianapolis Public Safety Foundation, and the Indy 11 will donate a portion of tonight's proceeds back to the Public Safety Foundation. And thanks to our friends at the Indiana Donor Network, and we'll talk more about their great efforts coming up during the post-game show. Brad, you know it was serious. This thing went to PKs.
I'll tell you, I got here early, and I watched part of this game. And while the pace is different than this game we're watching right now, there was some good play out there. I mean, they were moving the ball around, and I got to tell you, it was physical.
We've used the word physicality a time or two. These guys don't mind getting after it.
No, and I'll tell you what, the nice part about it is, as physical as it got, as many guys went down, they were helping each other up.
Nothing but respect, of course, for these two different sides. And on cue, you can see the sportsmanship right there. Again, this is not the first year for this event, but it was great to have them here at Lucas Oil Stadium for the first time. There you see the owner of the Indy 11 and Ursal Ozdemir checking out the pitch at halftime as well. First half highlights come your way next. The Indy 11 and Richmond Kickers are tied at 1. We're back in just a moment. Indy 11 Soccer is brought to you by Community Health. Dream big, work hard, finish strong. Community Sports Medicine, official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. By Honda, proud to be the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. By Turkish Airlines, widen your world. And by The Room Place, get it all at The Room Place. Gorgeous night in downtown Indianapolis. Just enough of a threat of rain today to keep the roof closed, but the window is open here at Lucas Oil Stadium. We got a pretty good window towards the field here from our perspective at midfield as well. Again, alongside Brad Hodder, Greg Rakestraw with you. Again, thanks for joining us for Indy 11 Soccer. Highlights in a moment. Brad, overall, your thoughts on the opening 45 minutes?
Interesting game. I think both teams have set up to play exactly how they want. Richmond sitting in, looking for the counter, defending pretty well. And the 11 are controlling play, and I think both teams want that. It's going to be interesting to see which team breaks first here.
Richmond really has struggled to score. Again, they have been held scoreless in 7 of their last 8 matches. Did not worry about that tonight because by minute number 5, they had found the back of the net.
And I tell you, the build-up in it was fantastic. They knock a ball out. It was Umar knocking the ball out wide, a brilliant ball, slotted across, and just a perfect finish.
The goal scored by Raul Gonzalez. It was his second goal of the season, and it put Indy 11 on the back foot early. And there's not been much of possession tonight for Richmond. When they've had it, they've had some good combination play.
They really have, and it's come down that left side a lot. And, you know, you've got both Ouimet and Ayoze getting forward, but they seem to be favoring the left side.
But from that moment on, possession tilting in favor of the Indy 11. Haven't had that many great looks on goal, and I'm not sure this was a great look either. But Dylan Mayers got the benefit of a misplay by goalkeeper Trevor Spangenberg.
It wasn't a good look, and to be honest with you, I don't think that ball goes in if he doesn't touch it.
So Mayers gets his second of the season, and for Dylan, that means his second in 2 weeks with the club. That came in the 15th minute, but again, we have stayed tied at 1-1 since that time. Possession, by the way, in the first half, 60-40 in favor of the Indy 11. Shots, 8-4 in favor of the Indy 11, and shots on target, 4-1 in favor of the Indy 11.
And those statistics match what you're seeing here, and I think they match the game plan. Richmond's not looking to outshoot or outpossess. They're looking for that moment that Indy falls asleep. They can catch them on the counter, or to have a restart opportunity that they can put away.
After tonight, there are 3 more home games left for the Indy 11. One of them is in 4 days. Wednesday night against New York Red Bulls 2. Of course, we'll have that one for you here. That is at 7 o'clock. After that, it is 3 weeks until the next home game. And after tonight, only one more Saturday night home game left, and that is not until Saturday, October the 6th.
You know, it's an interesting part of the season because everything is to play for right now, and you are playing probably your best soccer, your most dynamic soccer. You're getting scoring from different guys, from different places on the field. You're not a one-dimensional team, which makes you a really, really difficult matchup.
Almost time now for our coach's interview presented by Turkish Airlines, the official international airline of the Indy 11. Turkish Airlines, widen your world. The team's getting back on the pitch, getting ready for half number 2. Martin Running now joins us. Again, a lot of possession by your club. Kind of your thoughts on the way the first 45 minutes unfolded, Coach?
Yeah, I think a little bit unlucky to be 1-1. There wasn't really many chances given up, and we had a lot of the ball. Obviously, once they scored early, they were going to sit deep and make it difficult for us. I think our movement needs to improve in terms of when we switch it. Can we then play at more central passes that are in dangerous spots? We need to play quickly, keep the tempo high, and I think it will come for us.
Any other tactical changes that you expect in half number 2, maybe coming from the other side?
Well, we have to make sure we manage the counter-attacks well, because if we're attacking, then we must make sure when the ball turns over that we're in good positions to defend against that.
Martin, thanks for the time. We'll talk to you after the match.
Thank you.
Head coach Martin Running of the Indy 11. Your thoughts on what Coach had to say?
Agree. I think that when you got Richmond in their counter, they're supporting the counter well. Once they get that ball up to Gonzalez or Gentile, they do fill in with the midfield and the backs. And so it's great that the 11 have possession, but it does need to be a little bit quicker before they can drop their 8 into that bunker in front of their goal.
Jack McInerney locked in and ready to go for half number 2. Trying to add to his recent run of goal-scoring success. Had the game winner against the Bethlehem Steel on July 26th and had a brace in the next Indy 11 game on his birthday against Louisville City FC. Had a brace on Wednesday as well against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
And one of the things well, I don't know that's unique, but I'm fascinated by it. His expression never changes. He gets leveled by somebody, it's the same look as he scores the game-winning goal. Now, you did see a little something on that last-minute goal in the last match.
That's what happens when you've been a pro since you were 17. Not much phases you.
Yeah.
He debuted with the Philadelphia Union in their first year as a franchise in 2010. Also spent time with the Portland Timbers. Had a successful run with the Timbers 2 years ago. But has been as good as advertised in his first stint in the USL with the Indy 11. No changes for either side to begin half number 2. 6th match in the span of 7 and 22 days. After tonight, 7 matches remaining. But that will take 6 weeks worth of time to play those 7 matches. The Indy 11 get a bit of a respite in mid-September. After they play next Wednesday, they are then off for a week. Then after that match, they are off for 10 days. But as referenced earlier, after tonight, they've got at least 5 matches against teams currently in the top 8 in the Eastern Conference. Credit to Toronto, Atlanta, and this Richmond team. Even the matches that look to be quote-unquote easy ones have not been easy. Those teams have all played hard. They have all been professionals during this recent run of stretch. Ring goes down, no foul given. We play on. Opportunity here, but Gentile not on the same page as Matt Bolduc.
And you can see the frustration in Gentile. You know, they know they were only going to get a couple of really good looks, and that one was developing to be one of them.
Sooney Saad. This is Yearwood, ball at his feet. And Roberts, I'm not sure it's ever good to dummy your goalkeeper like that, but it seemingly worked out. Roberts wearing the captain's armband tonight. He spent some time with FC Edmonton the last couple of years. Former NASL side that'll play in the Canadian Premier League next year. Ouimet. Good run going for Carl Ouimet. And that'll be a foul as the tank couldn't stop rolling in time for Carl.
It was a good run. It was that last touch just got a little bit away from him, and you can't stop that kind of speed that quickly.
As we mentioned, normally plays center back, but began the year as a right back. The injury of Ferreira moved him inside. But during this run of games, Carl's kind of split that right back spot with Venegas.
It's so great as a coach to have that kind of flexibility, that you can have a guy that you can move into different spots and they can be effective even though the responsibilities and demands are different in each.
You would say about the entire team, though. There is such positional flexibility on this team.
Well, I think Owain Fawn Williams, I'm going to scratch that from the flexibility. Unless you've seen something I've missed.
Have you not seen the man paint? The man's got multiple skills.
That is true. That is true.
This portion of the match was presented by the Denny Companies. The Denny Companies, tearing down the past so you can build the future. For those of you outside of Indianapolis, Owain Fawn Williams is the resident artist on the team. Also a guy that spent time playing with the Welsh national team. The Gareth Bales and Aaron Ramseys of the world. Good flick here by Gentile. On the cross, Mitchell will volley it off the side for a Richmond throw-in. Again, the possession has not been as plentiful, but the scoring chances have been about equal between Richmond and Indy.
That's one thing that you do need to be careful. It's always difficult to play a team that's low pressing you, because the momentum and the energy is very different. You feel like you're in such control of this game, like it's just a matter of time until it happens. Sometimes you can lull yourself into just being a little bit careless with the ball or not tracking your runs. And for Richmond, you know, you're sitting in, you're waiting for that one moment, and then you go.
Chance for the Indy 11 to spring some numbers forward. Sooney Saad.
Oh my.
Tremendous lead for Mayers. Mayers plays it across. McInerney couldn't get to it. Richmond had just enough traffic there to throw along.
What I mean, the ball from, was it Sooney Saad that flicks it into Mayer's space?
Brad Ring tried to give it a go, does not get through. Let's make our obligatory comment about Brad every match he plays. He's due for his yearly goal. Last scored in early June of last season in San Francisco. Brad's 5th year with the franchise, the all-time leader in matches played for the Indy 11. Went over 100 earlier this year, becoming the 2nd player in franchise history to hit the century mark. Mayers tries to slot that through to McInerney. Mikel Williams was back there to stop it. And now Gentile with a couple of options to his left. I don't think that was the right option.
Yeah.
Well, you talked about the give and go between Saad and Mares. Let's take another look.
This is just individual brilliance for the flick, but then your teammate has to trust that you've got that brilliance in your arsenal to make that follow-up run. And then how about that ball from Dylan Mares? You know, he serves it right into a space that Jack McInerney is reading and accelerating into.
And Mares has been here for 2 weeks. Obviously, we've seen his skills on display playing the first 3 years of his pro career here from 2014 to 2016. But Dylan played with Miami in the NASL last year, then played with them since he was still under contract on their NPSL team this year, which is largely players that are still in college or guys that are trying to keep their professional careers alive, or even just trying to play at a high level of soccer while working full-time in another job. But signed by the team 2 weeks ago for the remainder of the year. Good to have Dylan back at home, the Indiana native. Possession a bit more balanced here to start this half than it was in half number 1. Good looking move here. Outstanding read by Ioze. Another outstanding all-around performance for Ioze this evening. Long distance ball for Spies, trying to carve out some space. Not the tallest of trees there is Spies. 3 goals this year for Ben after 4 a season ago. Guerra and Saad, unfortunately, not on the same page. The Sports of the Match presented by Community Health Sports Medicine. Dream big, work hard, and finish strong. Saw Ben after the match connecting with Mr. Zemansky from the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, both those guys from the Akron area. He documented that Zemansky's dad, a Division III soccer coach and friend of yours. Yearwood plays it across. Ferreira steps in front of Gentile, or that could have been a nervous moment for Owen Von Williams.
Good step. The one thing that you can't do here on the counter and in transition is lose track of Gentile.
Brian Schreiber leads Richmond in both goals and assists, but for just the second time this season, he is not in the starting 11 for Richmond. He is available as a substitution. Ferreira with a fantastic read.
It's just, and you know, Ioze had the same read on Gentile a moment ago on the other side. There's another one that, you know, the ball gets through. Ioze's trailing the runner. It's a great touch to be able to get a piece of it and stop it from sliding across the box.
And a great job to get that touch going up and not straight, because it gets into OG territory. And corner coming here for the Kickers. Lavity will head to that corner and take it for Richmond.
And I'm not. I think, you know, these are the moments when you're low pressing and counterattacking. These are the moments you got to play for.
And Matt Watson giving Lavity the business by running right by him to loosen up. A veteran move by Watson. I guarantee you Lavity's dealt with that in the past. Not the first rodeo for either of those two guys.
Maybe with Watson too. These guys have been around a long time.
And there you see Elliot Collier, and Elliot might be getting an early nod in this game. That Watson might be too. Just provide a bit more spark, and again, you're now into this 3rd straight week of having 2 matches in a week, and you can get some fresh legs out there at this stage. You're trying to get a little bit of a different look.
And you're asking for a half an hour from him.
Brad Russin and Nico Mattern on your screen.
Wow.
Mares to Ioze. Ioze for Spies. Spies left foot, doesn't get through. Milan Roberts got in the way. Spangenberg hustling, but
I tell you, I think he might have had Suni Saad on a one-touch ball.
Corner kick coming here. So both Collier and Watson will enter at the next stoppage in play, not this one. But Collier gives you that target that we've talked about that might be necessary in this game.
And there is something unique about him. He doesn't play by conventional standards sometimes. It's different runs.
Good location on that corner, but really wasn't an Indy 11 player there to make an impact to it. Spees serves it up. Ouimet sends it back in. And that'll be another corner. And now do you get Collier in here to give you an extra target on the corner? Looks like the answer is going to be no. Jose again. Good, great service. Richmond got there first. Gonzalez all by his lonesome. Does have players to his right if he takes it that way. Nope, he's going to try to get Williams off his line.
That frustrates you, as you know, you got guys that are making a 30-40 yard sprint to support you in this effort, and you're going to pull the trigger from 40-45.
Saad stays on side. Couldn't weave his way past Bolduc. Good ball here for Richmond. Fernando. To Gentile. Both sides catching their breath to a limited degree right now. Fans, the USL surpassed 2 million in total attendance last week, maintaining a record pace in the stands for the league's modern era. The league and its teams would like to thank you, the fans, for the rising support you've provided over the course of this season as we get closer to the 2018 USL Cup playoffs. 33 teams constitute the USL, with even more teams being added next year. McInerney. Spangenberg able to clear that one. And that'll be a foul against Brad Ring. Substitutions about to enter. Suni Saad will exit as Elliot Collier will replace him. Collier from New Zealand. Played his college soccer at Loyola of Chicago. Ben Spees will step out as Matt Watson comes in to replace him. I think that's going to mean that Mayers is going to bump up and play a forward role here. You can put Dillon anywhere in the front two lines of the field and you're fine.
Absolutely. His IQ, his understanding of the game, transcends a specific position.
Ring, Guerra, and Watson will constitute the midfield. Ball sent in. Fawn Williams is there. You can see the Indy 11 switch formation go to 2 up top as well. They've been playing this 4-3-3 really for the last couple of weeks. It seems like longer because they played so many matches, but they have found success with it. And here goes a run by Mayers. Tried to sneak in behind Roberts. For standing stats, all the latest league news, be sure to visit USLsoccer.com. Richmond has limited the careless giveaways they had in half number 1. They just had one of them right there.
Hey, you wonder if that may be the lines or something that just gets them to disconnect, because that was an odd one.
Second match where the lines have been in orange after they were in yellow for the first couple of matches with the full football markings on the new turf here at Lucas Oil. Those lines were painted over on the old turf, which the Indy 11 played on through their match against the Charlotte Independents on July the 7th. So it's the orange line on the left of your screen that is the touch line. The yellow line that you see, kind of the dashes, so to speak, that's for folks like me that patrol the sidelines in NFL games to stay back behind that during the game. Ferreira. Now Guerra. He just knocks that one back about 40 yards. This portion of the match brought to you by the Room Place. Get it all at the Room Place. this result holds, Indy 11 would get their 3rd consecutive draw. Not what they were looking for out of this one.
No, I think for Richmond to come away with any points is a victory, although, you know, 1-3 doesn't do them any good. So you can see them pressing and really going for the 3 points. But for Indy, this would be a tough one, especially you've held a lot of the possession. You've created some really dangerous opportunities. This would be a tough one to not pull the 3 points from, especially how close the bottom of that playoff part of the table is.
Jose goes to the turf. By the way, score update, Charlotte does lead Nashville 1-0. The Rowdies have scored again. They now lead 3-0 against North Carolina FC. That match is in Cary tonight. Good looking turn here by Collier. Collier puts it just a touch behind Mayers, and those guys have played all of 2 matches together as of tonight. Look at that ball. Mayers, back post, McInerney. Well, that was the best buildup of half number 2 for the Indy 11. It developed quickly.
Great little touch into Mayers, and then, you know, from that position, you're not able to get a super strike on goal, and putting it back post and giving McInerney a chance. What a great decision.
Dylan Mayers, the leading goal scorer for this team in 2015 with 5. And similar numbers in 2016, was 3rd on the club behind Justin Braun and Eamon Zayed. And that is where he stands in terms of the all-time goals scored for the Indy 11. Zayed 1, Braun 2, Mayers 3. And this is the 5th season of Indy 11 soccer. Mayers joins names like Brad Ring, Don Smart, Corey Miller, and Marco Franco as players that have spent 4 years with the Indy 11. Lavity, but optimistic there. Watson with the block. McInerney a chance to launch the counter. Collier didn't get the ball he's looking for from McInerney. Good job to angle and alter his run, and McInerney saw it. He just couldn't get him the ball that he wanted.
And that's it. That was an impressive little stretch for the 11. You know, you pull Richmond out, and then you look to try and find those gaps before they can get settled and bunkered in again.
Get an inside look at life on and off the field from a player's perspective every Wednesday evening in the latest edition of From the Pitch, and you can find it on USLsoccer.com. You've got guys like Mayers and Iose together. Those 2 guys don't lose the ball. Always stays at the top of their feet.
They're guys that you can't really press because they're so creative and so good on the ball. They'll beat the press. All you can do is just kind of funnel them into some traffic and maybe a help defender.
Starting to get back in that rhythm of the first half with the possession belonged to the Indy 11, but again, really couldn't build up. Great looks on goal. McInerney just had one. Been sitting on the score line now for nearly 50 minutes. And that'll be a foul against the Indy 11. Ferreira will draw the whistle. Richmond still has all 3 substitutions at their disposal. Indy has just 1.
And you have to think if it stays at this 1-1 that you're going to see Shriver maybe that last 10 to 15 minutes to give them a chance to have a little bit more pop up front.
Well, I believe that Shriver is seated on the bench and is not warming up currently. They've got 3 or 4 players getting loose. I think he is on the bench. He may be limited in terms of his minutes tonight. Brian, 31 years old. Shriver, the Golden Boot winner in the North American Soccer League in 2013 and the leading scorer in the U.S. Open Cup in 2012. He's been doing it at a high level for a long time. Spent last year splitting time between North Carolina and Jacksonville. Watson, good read. Watson for Collier. Watson continues the run. The 11 will back up and reorganize just a bit here. Throw it coming here for Richmond.
Yeah, one of the impressive things about Matt Watson is how he begins an attack once he steals the ball. His head goes up immediately, and he's looking downfield to see where the soft spots are to put a ball. And what's so impressive about that is, you know, the attacking mindset. But when you look long, your side vision, your peripheral vision, you can see stuff that's short. But when you look short, you can't see those long opportunities. And the way he picks his head up immediately and looks, can I put the other team under, is impressive.
14-year pro is Matt Watson. All that spent here in North America despite being a native of England. Came here to play college soccer. That lasted 1 year. Been a pro ever since. Scored a goal for the Indy 11. Their 2-0 victory against Atlanta United 2 back in early June. Indy looking for a season sweep against the Kickers. Be the 4th team if they can do it. But they would have the sweep against so far this year. North Carolina, Toronto FC2, and Nashville are the others. But they've got to get a goal to go in front and stay there, do the 11, as we're at the midway point of half number 2. The score has remained the same now for quite some time.
Well, if this falls into the category of the last few games that we've called here, it's going to be in about 20 minutes.
Collier able to keep his feet. Not the second time. And I believe we're going to see a card for the first time this evening. And for accumulation, if you will, for a number of conversations being had. The card goes against Raul Gonzalez. Trainer, come on, take a look at him. Chance for everybody to kind of hydrate just a little bit.
You know, one of the things when you're really a high-level player, as you're watching a game and playing in a game, you're recording all of these little moments. You know, the guy that's matched up against you, he likes it on his right foot. He's not as comfortable in the air. You get all this data so you can make decisions. So you're just constantly recording everything that's going on. And you look, it also happens with the official, because as soon as he was issuing the card, he's pointing to the spots on the field where the fouls were committed that he says, okay, I've had enough. Here you go.
I think this has been a pretty well officiated match.
I agree. And, you know, after he points out to Gonzalez, here, and here, no argument. Yep, you caught me.
By the way, we will see a substitution getting ready to enter for Richmond. Prince Augibang about to enter the match. He is from Ghana. He will replace Gonzalez. So Gonzalez gets the yellow, but he's certainly put in the work tonight, and he has put Richmond on the board back in minute number 5. And for Gonzalez, it is his 2nd goal of the season, and this is 25th appearance. Gonzalez, a young guy as well. He will turn 24 this month. He played his college soccer at the University of Memphis. So Gonzalez is done for the night.
Thought he had a great game. I mean, he was able to break down. He's a little bit electric when he goes. So, you know, when they're on the counter and they found his feet, he's a great option for Gentile to run off of, because he collapses defenses around him, and that opens up more space.
2 subs remain for Richmond. Ouimet to Mares. Slides over to Iose. On the cross, doesn't get through. McInerney settles. But never can get the ball on his feet to really give it a go on goal. Good pressure, though. Spangenberg likes to play that ball before letting it go for a potential goal kick. This portion of the match presented by Honda Manufacturers of Indiana, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Gentile draws the foul. They're allowing play to continue on as long as they had possession. Once that ended, whistle. Fernando on your screen, 21 years of age. Sao Paulo, Brazil. So this is some young guys getting a look here, which is frankly what you want to see happen when you've had a rough season. Give the young guys a chance. McInerney here. Collier going to the back post. Streaking down the middle is Mayers, and McInerney's pass kind of bisects the two of them. And that'll be a foul against Watson.
I tell you, he's not missing much as an official. I mean, Matt Watson was holding his arm, and that was out of sight of the center, and he still saw it.
Substitution's going to come in here for Richmond. It'll be Greg Bame that will enter. And Neil Labadie will exit tonight's match. Another young player out of VCU is Bame. By the way, fans, you can stay up to date with all the best from social media around the USL by watching Off the Post with Kelsey Steele every Friday evening on the USL social media channels. So both teams now with one substitution remaining. Ferreira. That ball is off the Richmond player. Well, the last two matches, the Indy 11 have allowed a 96th minute goal. Go from getting 3 points to picking up just one. Scored a 94th minute goal to get a point when it looked like they would get none. Points have been halved now for the last 60 minutes in this match. Better chances as of late belong to the Indy 11. This one sent in, and Von Williams
nicked somebody.
Couldn't get a hand to it. By the way, outstanding attendance tonight, as you would expect for a Saturday night on a holiday weekend. 11,344 in attendance tonight at Lucas Oil Stadium.
That'll weigh Indy.
Love to see as many of you back here as possible on Wednesday night. Potential playoff preview against the New York Red Bulls 2, and the Red Bulls 2 frankly handed it to the Indy 11 more so than any other team has this year when they played at the end of May. A 4-1 victory for the second side of the New York Red Bulls. There are 4 different second sides in this side of the conference, as Wilmette looking for the back post, couldn't find Collier. It's not been a season of success for Atlanta and Toronto, but Bethlehem, who is Philadelphia's team, and Red Bulls too, they're both really solid.
Yeah, but so much of that comes down to how you define success. What are those teams built for? And, you know, I think you have to talk to front offices and say, hey, is this team looking to compete for championships in the USL? Are we developing players? Is it a place that we can send guys to get some touches, maybe rehab a little bit before they're up for the first team?
It'll be a throw in here for the Indy 11. Fans, you can download the official Indy 11 app now to be the first to receive breaking team news and highlights, available on the app stores for Apple and Android devices. Well, the rhythm of this match has been the same for quite some time. The Indy 11 have had most of the possession. We'll get a handful of looks, but not enough to turn the tide as of yet. When these two teams played back in late March, it was 1-0. Part of that, I think, was by design. The Indy 11 were so early in their season. They play a different style now than they did back then.
And at that point, too, you referenced it earlier in the broadcast about how this team was put together at the last minute when they joined the USL. And so you're still trying to find your identity. You know the players you got. You know how you want to play, but you're still trying to figure out the personality at that point.
Indy 11 next on the road against Penn FC a week from Wednesday. Watson plays it across. Just a bit behind Mayers. Looks like the third and final substitution is about to enter for Richmond. Collier just couldn't get there in time. Williams will play it off the side. So for the first time this year, Brian Shriver will not appear in a match for the Richmond Kickers. I have to get the pronunciation guide out for our next substitution. Kobe Osewusu. Sounds right to you, correct?
I'm 100% in on that.
Rolls off the tongue. Our friend Kobe, as we'll call him for the rest of the match, he's going to come in. Giuseppe Gentile will enter. Osewusu played at George Washington University. Much like we saw with Pittsburgh, several players from Pennsylvania, the Pittsburgh area, a lot of guys from kind of DC, Virginia, Maryland on this Richmond Kickers squad. Ferreira sends it in. Mayers with the flick. Dave Spangenberg a bit of bother there for a second. So Shriver, we never saw him leave the bench tonight, which tells me he was
a decoy.
In uniform only. Wasn't going to play in tonight's game. Brian turned 31 last month. He played in the second ever game in the Indy 11's franchise history. Played for the Tampa Bay Rowdies in 2014. Brian played his college soccer at the University of North Carolina. Bit of a misjudge by Fawn Williams. Couldn't find the proper piece of real estate. Has to knock that ball to the seats. Indy 11 soccer presented in part by Delta Faucet. Delta Faucet. See what Delta can do. Of the subs available for the Indy 11. Monturn, Venegas, Russin, and Starikoff. And you would frankly think it's likely Starikoff, knowing you need a late goal here. If you get a goal, it might be one of the other three guys we just mentioned.
I agree. I think you protect it if you get one, and here in the next few minutes, if you sense something in one of the guys you've got up top, you may want to put Eugene in there and see if he can do what he does and just generate the energy to put that ball in the back of the net.
And that'll be a foul on Osewusu. Ferreira down on the turf, and Indy 11 plays on.
There's a connection between Watson and McInerney. You know, and those two read each other very, very well. McInerney makes his run immediately when Watson picks the ball off of Richmond.
Richmond looking for just their second game of the year where they get even a point on the road. The only other time they have collected points on the road this year was a victory at Penn FC on July the 9th, a 2-1 win. Richmond has played Penn FC 4 times this year. Now, one of those was in the U.S. Open Cup. They have won 3 of their matches with Penn FC. Penn FC is still in the playoff race just because of how strange their schedule is. They basically were gone for a month to 6 weeks, and they finish their schedule with about a month's worth of home games. They share their facility with the Washington Nationals AA team in Harrisburg. So they're not in the top 8, but just because they don't have to leave the state of Pennsylvania for weeks on end, we've kind of kept them in the playoff picture. Fantastic tackle, but couldn't keep it in play, could Ferreira. And Ferreira's going to get a card. So the first yellow of the match against the Indy 11 goes against Ferreira. And the last sub will not be Starikoff. It's going to be Kevin Venegas. Now, Venegas does have a goal this year. Came back against Toronto FC2 back in mid-June. And the outside backs of this offense do factor in to the scoring opportunities. Flicked forward here. Collier gets to it. Collier trying to set up Mares. Mares gets to it. Mares goes down to the turf. It's going to be a card. It is outside of the 18. Collier is claiming it wasn't. I think once again the referee made the right call.
I agree. I thought it was outside. I think it sets up a dangerous restart opportunity. I do think if you're Collier, you do have to argue. You do got to see if maybe you can get that ball in the box in the center's mind. But I think it's a great game. You take a look at the card that Ferreira got just a moment ago and what that means to the way this last 10 minutes is going to play out. So the ball goes out of bounds, and Ferreira picks it up and tosses it to Ayoze to just kill a little bit of time. And immediately the official says, no, we're not going to do that. And he sends a message to everybody on the field, we're not going to play that game here tonight.
Mikael Williams commits the foul. But again, the replay shows that was outside of the 18, right call. Suni Saad out of the game. So this tells me this is the domain of Ayoze or McInerney. Now, McInerney does have a set-piece goal this year. Came against Penn FC back on June 30th.
And who takes this ball depends when they stand over it and they look at where that wall sets and where Spangenberger sits. His positioning dictates, is he going to give you a window that the left-footed Ayoze can hit, or is he going to give you a window that the right-footed McInerney is going to hit? And I think it looks like it might be the window for Ayoze.
Thinking the exact same thing. Venegas waits at the fourth official. Shows you what we know. McInerney up and over. Tough to get that ball up and down from that distance. So Carl Lamette's night is over with. Kevin Venegas will provide a fresh pair of legs for the Indy 11. So the subs that do not get used for the Indy 11 tonight: Ben Lundgaard, Brad Russin, Nico Mattern, and Eugene Starikoff. Indy 11's preferred technology and office equipment provider is Braden. Visit them at BradenOnline.com. Braden, technology that drives your business. Venegas gets an immediate touch. Good positioning by Collier. And he's not just a big body. You can see the technical skill that kid has. Now Ferreira will push forward. Ayoze to his left. Mares gives it a go. Good job of blocking that shot by Richmond. Wow. Well done to avoid two, if not three, defenders.
Yeah, and this is what you want if you're Richmond. You've got them stretched, you got them out of shape, and you got numbers.
Ferreira closes it down quickly.
And that ends that.
Augimang was the player that was able to work his way through the minefield at midfield of the Indy 11. Shielded away by Mitchell. Jose Wusu was the player that was the target of that pass by the Kickers. This is a Richmond team that has given up multiple goals in 7 of their last 8 games. You would not know it by how they have defended tonight. They have not played in any way, shape, form, or fashion like a team that's been, well, kind of a sieve defensively for the last 2 months.
And a lot of pressure now shifts over to Indy because this is a match. This is a team that you should be pulling 3 points from at home.
A point is a result to be proud of if you're Richmond, but you'd love to have the 3. Augimang slides it through. Venegas Rockets it away, but not out of danger yet. Fernando, good pressure. But Ferreira now able to buy some more real estate. Here goes Iose. Like the Smothers Brothers with a yo-yo, the way you control that soccer ball. Venegas sends it in. You like that reference, Brad? I know you did.
I did. It is a sliver.
It's dated.
Of the demographic.
It's dated.
That is going to understand that.
It's something for the older folks staying up till 9 o'clock, almost their bedtime, to appreciate. You can't use that on the post-game show. You got to do it now.
Oh, that's fantastic.
If only Hee-Haw followed the show. Spangenberg with the goal or the kick after the foul committed by the Indy 11. Our final 5 minutes plus stoppage time brought to us by your Central Indiana Honda Dealers, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. We'll talk to head coach Martin Rennie and an Indy 11 player during tonight's post-game show. I'll also tell you about our friends at the Indiana Donor Network. Great effort that the Indy 11 and the Indiana Donor Network have partnered on over the last several years with Indy 11 soccer. Jose Wusu.
If you're Richmond, you are feeling confident right now. You've given up 10 goals in your last 2 games. You're in this one. You know, if it holds like this, you're at least pulling a road point for the first time in 2 months. But why not go for the 3? And I like the subs that they've made, the young guys that they've put in. They're playing with a confidence and a swagger right now.
Venegas. I don't think we're going to see a lot of stoppage time either, with no goals in this half. No really injuries in this half either. You've had the full 3 subs for both teams, but as referenced earlier, those goals in the last couple of Indy 11 matches late have been in the 94th and 96th minute. I'm not sure we're getting to the 94th and 96th minute tonight. Left foot, Collier the target. Yearwood clears it away from the oncoming Venegas. The flag goes up. Pittsburgh has a 1-0 lead at FC Cincinnati tonight. It's an important result just for kind of confidence for Pittsburgh going forward. But again, FC Cincinnati will be the #1 seed in the East. Got a double-digit points gap over the rest of the Eastern Conference. Indy will face Cincinnati one more time, September the 29th at Nippert. Here's an opportunity here. McInerney trying to weave his way through. McInerney off the bar.
Oh my goodness. What a hit.
It does not take much for McInerney to get loose. Mayers, first touch too strong. Iose able to keep it in play. Just a sliver of space is all is needed for McInerney. We saw that on the delivery from Ben Spees 3 nights ago.
The amazing thing is, it's the 90th minute after he has played at just a frantic pace.
Iose goes to ground, doesn't draw the whistle. Now here's a counter opportunity here. Jose Wusu has 3 players along with him, but the Indy 11 have several players back. Good looking ball here. Ferreira got there first, and Ferreira will keep Bullduck away from that ball by any means necessary. Take a look at the last opportunity for the Indy 11.
It's great. And his run before the pass was just shifting a little bit to the left to give a little bit more space for that ball to be played into. So he's separating from the defender to give the window. The ball comes in, he cuts back across, and what a shot.
Stoppage time about to be shown here. 3 minutes.
I was thinking in my head 3 minutes.
I figured as much. Watson steers it forward to Collier. Collier tried to play it forward to McInerney, but he had started his run going a little further down the field. Opportunity here for Richmond. Give it a go from here. The answer is yes. And Von Williams hasn't seen much traffic this half. Able to handle that one quickly. Venegas.
I'd say as a keeper, you like to see a guy winding up from 30. You know that it's going to take a really incredible shot, or it's going to be an easy save, and that's what it was at that point. I think they had the opportunity to pull it in a little bit more, maybe do something different with it. But I'd be hard-pressed to believe Von Williams wasn't salivating when he started winding up.
Fernando.
It's a good ball.
About midway through stoppage time here. Not the annually playing added time in if you're the Indy 11. Throw in coming for Richmond. Richmond scored in the 5th minute. Had a couple of chances since then. The better opportunities have gone the way of the Indy 11. Dylan Mayers, who scored the only goal tonight for the Indy 11, had the ball at his feet right now. And that's going to be a foul and a card shown on Augime. That'll add a little more time to added time, but still it's got to be quick here for the Indy 11. Jose Wusu delaying Von Williams to bit. Iose to Watson. Watson to Venegas. Closing seconds. Venegas. Well defended by Fernando. And a goal kick.
That's brilliant defending. Let him push it into that space. Just step in. Let it run over the line.
One more touch from Spangenberg, and that might be that for the evening.
He's sure hoping. He's going to drag this out as long as he can.
Wednesday night's point felt good for the Indy 11.
Yep.
Last Saturday night's point did not. This one wouldn't either. Von Williams will watch this ball. He'll track it down, knowing that time is of the essence. Everything's got to be going forward here. Ferreira. Iose. For Collier.
Possible to do it again?
Collier. Is it going to be a corner? Yes, there will be a corner.
I'd be hard-pressed to believe that a game is going to get called on a corner kick 2 times in a row.
Thank you for explaining what happened at the end of Wednesday's match. Is soccer karma in favor of the Indy 11? Might as well throw everybody forward. This is the last ball of the game. Iose sends
Good
it
ball.
in. Headed down, but not on frame. That's it, and that's all. A night of missed opportunities for the Indy 11. They do get one. They had hoped it would be 3. Great effort by the Richmond Kickers,
right,
and a team that's playing for pride at this point of the season. Not sure if that was a spoiler effort against the Indy 11, but they do get a road point, just the 2nd road result of the season for the Richmond Kickers.
Yeah, it is so mentally frustrating to play against low pressure. Unless you can get that early one that puts you up and has to draw them out, it is just a frustrating game.
The points are halved this evening in Indianapolis. The Indy 11 won and the Richmond Kickers won. Final thoughts on this one when we come back as you're watching Indy 11 soccer on Wish TV and ESPN+. Back at Lucas Oil Stadium, Brad Russin catching up with Giuseppe Gentile, his former teammate Seth Moses, the player that you see not wearing a jersey on your screen. A lot of old friends competing in this match tonight. It was a very sportsmanlike match. It wasn't a very offensively driven match in the last 75 minutes of it. 1-1 the score, and that frankly goes against the trends of each of these two teams as of late.
It's tough. It feels a little bit empty than the draw that was on Wednesday night. But when you start framing it against the table, you pulled a point. You've got your unbeaten streak still going. So there's you got a little bit of a sour taste, but nothing major.
To your point, the teams kind of directly behind you that are outside of the top 8 in the playoffs did not get points this week. Ottawa, no points. They were beaten 1-0 last night. North Carolina, no points. They were beaten 3-0 this evening. So the end result is what you're hoping for in terms of you do, again, have a little bit more of a playoff buffer to the teams 9 and beyond. But trying to catch pace and get a playoff home game here, you didn't get the result you're looking for tonight.
Yeah, and when you sit back and you look at it from that bigger window, as frustrated as you might be from not getting the 3 and not getting a win, and we're all competitors, so you always want to win. You do look back at it and you say, we kind of got gifted a goal. Fair result to walk away with 1.
It makes the result on Wednesday even bigger because you are playing the team that's kind of in that 7-8 position right behind you, New York Red Bulls too. Again, that's a big one coming up on Wednesday night. We're not done talking about this match just yet. We do have our Central Indiana Honda Dealers postgame show. We'll catch up with the head coach of the Indy 11 and Martin Rennie and a player guest as well. That all comes your way in just a matter of moments. But as far as the game broadcast is concerned, about to wrap it up from Lucas Oil Stadium. Over 11,000 were here to watch it. And the Richmond Kickers struck first with a goal from Raul Gonzalez. But just 10 minutes later, Dylan Mayers got his second goal in as many weeks in an Indy 11 uniform. But that was then and all for the scoring tonight. Our final score from Lucas Oil Stadium, Indy 11 won, Richmond Kickers won. Post-game show comes your way next.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.